Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Fantasy Football University, FFU, coming at you in championship week 17. I am Mr. Bill DeCousis. I'm here with Mr. Tom Lang. Mr. Lang, are you ready for the finals?
The finals. It's the final countdown.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the final countdown for some of us anyway. So congratulations to everybody who made it into your finals. Commiserations for everybody who didn't. Both Tommy
Yeah.
and I, not just this week, but the past couple weeks have experienced some good beats and some bad beats. The high stakes league in which Tommy and I are in together, we are in the championship, and I would say we're probably clear underdogs in there. So we're going to give it our best shot
Well,
though.
I mean, there are some injuries on that side, but so I'm feeling fairly good about. Underdog. There's a true underdog story. We're the number 2 seed, and we're playing the number 1 seed.
That's
So
true. Well, when you walk in and you play against JSN and Devon Achan, you go in thinking initially that you're underdogs. Although we don't have to play the guy with Puka, so we'll take that as a minor victory.
yeah,
But
screw Puka.
we'll go in there. I made it into the finals in another league that I'm not in with Tommy, but in Tommy and I in our home league, I got eliminated by less than a point. Um, from the finals. And honestly, I would normally be like completely up in arms and upset about it, but honestly, I did not deserve to win that game. I did not deserve to win it. I made some bad moves. I overthought certain things, and I tried to make good moves. Like, I thought Colson Loveland was going to have a better game than he did. He didn't. We all thought Colby Parkinson was going to have a better game than he did. He did not. Um, but my opponent really kept it close, but he had really underperforming guys across his whole team. So, good. Congratulations to him. He's in
Shout
the
out to
finals.
Anthony.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Anthony.
Anthony.
He's in the finals, and so that they'll have a good fun match.
And
How's your best ball situation going?
oh man. Well, it was looking really nice. I mean, actually I finished third in both of them. But the reason why I finished third is because I went against the tandem of Puka and Stafford. In two of those guys had Puka and Stafford. Actually, sorry, one of them had Puka and Stafford. The other one had just JSN and Puka, and that was like the bridge, kind of like that put them above. And I only lost by 15 points. So if those guys weren't in there and they didn't have those big games, I mean, it's the game of what if at this point. But honestly, it was I had a good ride. My team was pretty well stacked, and even with Baker Mayfield's failure this week, I would have secured first if it wasn't for Puka and Stafford. But you
So
know,
after that unceremonious exit, so is your attention going to be fully on our high stakes league week this week then?
oh, of course, of course.
Okay.
I will say this though. Going into next year, I really feel that based on the experience that I had this year in best ball, I did see a lot of different strategical moves that some of these first place players are actually putting in there. And I do think that that's something that we could put into our content. And we could drop into a show, something like that, as a best ball play move. Because I'll tell you something right now, fantasy football world, drop $20-$30 into best ball, just mess around with it. You can make a nice amount of money if you make it to the playoff. So, it's very interesting. This is really my third year, but my first year really focused in on it. And the more you focus in on something, obviously, the more it pays out. So, definitely, we'll drop some information later this year on something like that.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, I defer to what you think a lot on that. I know that the general rules on best ball from a strategic point of view is upside, 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 boom, boom, boom. Like you go for boom bust because the
Uh,
boom could get you wins, and you go for upside. Like for example, you make a point to get other people's handcuffs as a priority instead of your own during the draft. So
to an extent.
yeah, there's obviously there's shades of gray. There's always not, black and white rules with this kind of thing. It's a different sort of mentality that it is for general fantasy.
Well, let's
So
just put it this way: I had Michael Wilson on every single one of my rosters. And the reason why I had Michael Wilson is because he's had production through the years, even with Caleb Williams, Kyler Murray, Caleb, whatever it was, Mr. COD over there. So, and especially with Marvin Harrison's injury situation on and off last year, just not being as consistent, Michael Wilson did see some touchdowns progression, last year, and then obviously his progression in receptions this year because of injury. So, there were some key plays that I did look at strategically, but I think there is a good opportunity for us to put that out there potentially for people to, think about.
Yeah, that's right. So back on normal fantasy, which is most of the community. If you are in championship week, like we said, congratulations. We got a lot of ground to cover here with you guys. A lot of strategic stuff to talk about. Um, any other quick reactions to the weekend? You want to jump right in here?
A lot of bad injuries, man.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll get into that. We'll mention and suspensions. We'll get into that too.
And guaranteed money being taken off the table based on the contract description.
That's true. We got a lot to get to.
Insane.
All right, let's get into this week 17 championship weekend here. Let's get to running backs. Oh, one quick note. So again, like we always say, all of our drop candidates and waiver options will be posted in the description of this episode's video on YouTube. So please check us out there as well. We thank you guys for being with us. A quick point of order. We decided that we're not going to cover every single week the IR drop guys as a separate thing. We're gonna make an extra effort to mention guys who are still being rostered specifically in the drop sections from guys. I bring this up because there were some times that people came back from IR that we didn't quite anticipate a couple of weeks ahead of time. Not that it would have made that much of a difference. And in other cases, there were guys that just ended up on IR and we didn't mention it until after the fact. So from a housekeeping perspective, we want to keep you guys on your toes with that stuff. All right. Housekeeping out the way, running back drop candidates here. Top on the list, like Tommy mentioned, horrible injury. You just mentioned to me off air you've never seen a worse injury than the one to Quinshon Judkins. Does he even make it back next year?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, dislocated ankle plus also broken, fibula was it? Yeah, it's that, and his leg completely like turned as well too. It was spotlight. He was literally by himself in the middle of the field of where it was. Like he was completely solo. So there was no other defender to block the injury or anything like that to see. Like it was open. It was bad. I don't
Well,
know.
this is such a significant injury for people because considering where people drafted him, people are likely he's a common player among championship teams. So if you again, he didn't have the best week. So if you survived whatever his week was, you're in the championship. We'll talk about running backs, better options on the running back side than wide receivers this week. So we'll get
Yeah.
into that. But
I will say I don't think he returns till late season next year, if
I,
that.
I don't think he
And,
go. I think it's a
and
Jonathan Brooks situation type of thing.
I will say this, that team is going to probably make a push for Nick Chubb and bring him back in here. And I know it's
Chubb,
not going to be good, but it's just,
no,
it's a feeling that may feel so good for Chubb.
no. We'll talk about their running backs. They're going to come up today, and I think that they're pretty happy with their running back room. They do have depth there. We'll get into that today. All right. First controversial name on the drop candidate list, David Montgomery. This is 1 week left. So let's just talk philosophy real quick, and it pertains to him. If you're not going to play a guy and you don't think your opponent is going to play a guy, or if he does play him, you're not being scared, then go ahead and drop him, right? David Montgomery, are you going to play him after that bad week at the Vikings defense?
No.
Okay. If there's some crazy scenario in which you would, then keep David Montgomery.
Yeah, but
Otherwise,
I mean, I wouldn't just drop him to drop him. I mean, like, you're gonna drop him in a sense that you're gonna pick somebody up in that relation that would actually have better upside. You're just
sure.
not gonna drop him and just like keep a starting lineup and zero people on your bench.
No, well, no, there might be a backup, defense you need. Like if you're trying to deny defenses or something, there could be some strategic things in there.
Apparently, that is not a good strategy in some leagues.
Or not allowed in some leagues. Next candidate on here, Alvin Kamara. Do you even care if he comes back?
No.
At Tennessee, I mean, decent enough matchup, right? But You don't care if
No.
he comes back. Just let him
Bye
go.
bye. Adios.
Okay. The Kansas City running backs, they're a dumpster fire right now. Could you even remotely consider starting any of them playing Denver this week?
No.
I'm going to say no. Let him go. Both Pacheco and Hunt. Let him go.
Like some way, this is a game that Kansas City wins.
I no.
Somehow, some way, Kansas City is going to win this game
Ola
against the
Dukin.
Denver.
Ola Dukin
No,
is not getting them a win.
no. What you call it? Um, Mr. Uncle Rico's back. He's fine. Just it was a
He has
little
a torn
sprain.
ACL,
He
doesn't he?
does not have a torn ACL. It was sprained. He had like a bruised knee or something like that. It was not. He had everything came back negative. He's okay.
I think they've just also given up on the season. They're done. Anyway, no.
Somehow, some way, they're going to lose that game.
Anyway, no. You could go ahead and drop them. Jordan Mason, goodbye.
Adios.
Goodbye. Just a reminder, I don't know why people were still rostering J.K. Dobbins. So I put it, look at those roster percentages, 41 and 44%. Let him go if he's not coming back to magically help you in week championship week here. And Devin Neal, so he was been put on IR, causing great things out of Taysom Hill, which we'll talk about today. So Devin Neal, goodbye. You could let
Very
him go.
nice.
Yeah. So let's get into and another quick mention. Okay, guess what? Championship weekend. So handcuffs, you don't need them anymore for guys that are healthy. Okay, there's one notable exception who we'll talk about shortly in Green Bay. But like you don't need Algier anymore unless you that bad at running back. You think he's gonna vulture a touchdown. You don't need your Bills backups. You don't need T. Ryan. You don't yada yada yada. You don't need those guys. Let him go. Not needed anymore. So let's talk about the pickups. So let's get two probably owned out the way. If by some miracle these guys are on your waiver wire, get them now. That's Ken Gainwell for complete obvious reasons. I mean, oh my God, he's the running back 8 since week 11. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Just basically co-starting with Jalen Warren. I mean, he's had like one bad week in there and that was it. And Rhamondre Stevenson, we don't know what the status is on Trayveon Henderson, but
I
even if
mean,
he, go ahead.
Kenneth Gainwell is the running back 21 for the past 3 weeks, but that's fine.
He's the running back 8 since week 11.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we could stat farm in either way.
Okay.
Rhamondre Stevenson, okay, like we just said, we don't know the status on Trayveon Henderson, but guess what? First of all, if he's out, he's an unbelievable play. And even if he's not, they're playing the Jets. Okay. Multiple backs are going to have, big days. It's going to be good. If they're playing the Jets. Rhamondre Stevenson is a must add if he's there. Now these guys might not be there. Ken Gainwell and Rhamondre Stevenson are hovering in the 70s, 50, depending on where you're at. If they're not there, um, let's hopefully you could try to get some of these other guys. So Tyjae Spears, who's been Tommy's darling, for however the whole season or whatever, had a nice game, and now they're home against the Saints. By the way, this Saints Tennessee game, which is going to turn out to be, I think, a competitive game. Do you think they put up points in this game, or do you think it is a defensive struggle? Vegas thinks it's a defensive struggle.
I don't think I think they put up points.
Okay. Well, Tyjae Spears, if he's going to have some value coming out the backfield. I like what I've seen from Cam Ward recently.
Cam Ward surpassed Marcus Mariota for the most passing yards for a rookie for the Titans.
Nice. I don't know how low a bar that was,
That's
but
pretty low, I guess.
um, you got Blake Corum is on this list again. Blake Corum is 30% in ESPN, 59% in Sleeper. Decent enough chance that he's there. How
Guys,
would you?
he is the number 7 running back in the past 3 weeks. If I actually readjust my roster rankings, he's actually the number 6 running back in the past 4 weeks. And then he's also the number 6 running back in basically inside the 20. You have to have him on your roster. He has to be somebody that you plug it in. It's just
So
it's a must.
I don't know if it's a must start. I mean, it wasn't both him and Williams had meh games against Seattle for the record. But honestly, how would you assess what the Rams did in Davante's absence? They basically retooled. They completely reshaped how they do it. They went to like 3 tight ends, but like a more bigger package all the time. I mean, Stafford still threw for all those yards and touchdowns and stuff, but it looked like they kind of went more jumbo. Basically the way that they were doing it, which is a benefit to Blake Corum.
Mhm.
By the way, I would agree with you to this point. If their usage is going to be this way, how could you not? Like, how could you not? They're basically 50-50ing it at this
It's
point.
this next game's in a dome in Atlanta.
Right.
And the
They're
tandem
going to be
running
ahead.
back the tandem running back situation is going to really benefit. I guarantee you a double point situation from what he had last week. He had 13.5 points. I anticipate him to have in the 20s.
You can't you guarantee him to have double points.
He is going to be the best flex play you can have on your lineup.
All right. Careful with guarantees, though. Careful.
He is going to be the best flex play in your lineup, putting up RB1, RB2 numbers.
Those are very different numbers. RB1, RB2. That could be like 20 to like RB2 is like
I
11.
just said about 20 points. 20 points.
Okay.
It's gonna happen.
Next name on here, we kind of alluded to it, Emmanuel Wilson. So if this is one of these handcuffs you better hang on to. If Jacobs is out, he's a smash play. If he is in, then no, you don't play him. But it's worth rostering literally just for that point. They're home against Baltimore in a game they absolutely have to win. Emmanuel Wilson, he's 36% on ESPN, 49% in sleeper. So if you want to take that shot, first of all, if you're the Jacobs owner, you should already have him on your roster, but whatever.
Yeah, due to this year, you should already have him on your roster based on his performances when he wasn't there.
I don't know how you don't. Let's talk about Audric Estime again. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say about this. Is this a don't even bother? It's too low down the list. Taysom Hill is too involved to make
Yeah,
it worth it type of thing.
don't touch him. Don't touch him.
All right, I don't know how deep you guys got to go, but we just thought we'd mention it. All right, so now let's talk about the more amorphous backfields. So Washington, I know this is gonna aggravate you. So it is what it is. Both backs had a good game.
Mhm.
And now they're home against Dallas. I am a big fan of Chris Rodriguez here. There's no way around it. I think he's the best guy, but JCM I still think is a decent play too. If they split the carries, they're both gonna have good games. Am I wrong?
I mean, Chris Rodriguez had 15 touches as compared to JCM had 8 on the ground. So, I mean, Chris Rodriguez is the starting running back still.
Well, I mean, JCM had a little bit of the passing work, did he not? And also McNichols looked bad, if I remember. I
No,
think he had
so basically JCM took over McNichols' role to an extent, and he got some touches on the ground. It's still Chris Rodriguez.
okay, okay. If I had to pick one, it would be Chris Rodriguez, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the route to go if you need somebody in the Washington backfield and you have nobody else.
Chris Rodriguez, 30% in ESPN, 51% in sleeper. Again, decent enough chance that he's there. So basically, up to now, all the guys that we've talked about, somewhere, but other than Gainwell and Stevenson, somewhere between 30-ish percent or whatever. Forget Estime or whatever. So let's try to talk about some guys you can get. So in Judkins' absence, there is a hole to be filled by whoever it's going to be. Now, it was supposed to be Samson. So Samson, who's 7% in ESPN, 14% in sleeper, but he got injured 2 weeks ago. Samson is by far the most talented guy. He was the guy who's getting the most work. He was super explosive. He's a rookie himself. He's going to
Mhm.
have some value next year too. The problem is that we don't know if he's going to play, and Stefanski's being real standoffish about how he's explaining this thing. So when Judkins went out, you had basically a split between Trayveon Williams and Raheim Sanders. So Raheim Sanders, he had more of the groundwork, but he ended up with less points. Trayveon Williams had more of the, kind of utility work, and he ended up with more points than him. The internet seems to be on the side of Sanders ending up with more of the work there. I think that, in my opinion, you tell me if you disagree, is if Sanson's not going to play, I don't care about Williams and Sanders. Otherwise, I would want Sampson. He's going to be the main guy. They're home against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, the over under there is tiny. It's like unless I know there's a guy getting the full workload in the backfield, I don't care. Am I wrong?
Um, they're going to be throwing the ball and they're going to be trying to move the ball, any way that they can against Pittsburgh. So I do think that Sanders is probably a good lean to if you need to. I think he is a lower end version of Tyjae Spears.
If Sampson is in, then it's just Samson and that's it, right?
It is not just Samson. And
Really?
they will have a multitude of running backs back there. It's not one solo man backfield.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then don't bother with the Cleveland backfield in championship weekend
I
then. I
wouldn't
mean,
touch it. I wouldn't touch it. But if you want massive upside, with a very, 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 very low floor, Raheim Sanders could be somebody that you could throw
I,
in there.
I know, but what you just
I
said
don't
is
think,
key, man. Like
yeah,
no, nobody could
massive
live with that
upside,
floor.
but zero floor.
But massive upside. The over under in that game is 33 points. I mean, there's no
Listen,
way.
I understand the schematics of basically looking at the over unders, but there's times when you have to actually look at how the teams play and how the teams are moving the ball well. And I get, Vegas usually wins with how they basically put their numbers out there. But come on, like the players play and some of these guys, they're going to go over in the yards. I mean, at times they don't need to score points, right? They don't have to score touchdowns to actually be relevant in fantasy. So like they could have, he could have 100 yards, all-purpose yards with seven catches and 8 attempts on the ground, and he had a really good fantasy day.
Uh, I think you're being real nice about it. I really do. I think
No, just being realistic, man. Like, again, yes, I understand the over under in points is one thing, but there is yards that are involved as well too. A guy could basically go, we see it all the time, right? A guy can just run out of gas and just fall down on the 5 yard line. You just pull a Daniel Jones as he's running for a touchdown and basically get 8 points for that and then doesn't get the touchdown, which adds another bonus, could be another 2 points for bonus for the excessive yards and the touchdown.
I,
So,
I don't know. I don't know. Pittsburgh did a good job of basically shutting down Detroit's running backs up until basically right at the end of the game, and that's Gibbs. And you know what I mean? Like this is not the same thing. It's Cleveland. They have no vertical passing threat. Like this is I think it's just a bridge too far. I would have felt decent enough about Samson if I absolutely knew that he's in, but like you're telling me, like I agree with you. I'd rather have Corum. I'd rather have Rodriguez. I'd rather have Tyjae Spears.
1000%,
You know.
1000%.
All right, so
I
that's
think we're
it
taking a
depends.
lot of time talking about Raheem Sanders right now.
I know because people lost Judkins and they're trying to fill in that gap,
Yeah,
and
but like I said,
there's better options.
there's
Yeah.
better options based on the numbers, and honestly, the next play in Nick Chubb, I may just lean to play Nick Chubb over Raheem Sanders if I was tossed between both of those guys.
Oh, well, thanks for the segue. Let's talk about the Houston backfield here. So, if Woody Marks is out, it looks like Chubb and Jahwar Jordan are splitting stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, at the Chargers, who you're a fan of their defense,
Mhm.
no way I'm playing these guys if they're splitting carries. If Marks is in, he would have been a lower end throw in a running back option, but I can't defend playing these guys against the Chargers if they're splitting it out. Can you?
Uh, you know, I wouldn't like it, but honestly, Nick Chubb did have some nice runs that basically, opened up the field a little bit for him last week. So I do
That was
think,
against the Raiders. Yeah.
yeah, I understand it was against the Raiders, but the Raiders do have a pretty decent pass rush as well too, and also
It's one
runs
guy.
one guy, but in all reality, it could be, it could open up a little bit. So I think he can have a decent day, but nothing that's going to be like, hey, I need to start him over Blake Corum. I'm starting him over Raheem Sanders, but I'm thinking that he is a decent spot start if you're in a pinch and you need an RB2 and you don't have anybody else, like because due to injuries, Quinton Judkins goes down. You have other injuries potentially that you've just been flooded. But honestly, I will say if you've made it to and this is the big key point right here. Like, I don't think anybody that's in the championship is scrambling to go find a guy, right?
There's some people. If the
I
people
do
might have lost
feel
Judkins.
yeah, I know, but I do feel that what got you because you got to think Judkins was basically out for the first 4 games this year. You
Two,
had to
three
have
games.
somebody in that position from the beginning. And you most likely flexed Judkins if you had a decent start at running back. So I think that whoever is in this position, yes, you want to basically pick somebody up to either just keep away from your other league manager and stuff like that. But I do feel that we're at a point in the season that our teams are pretty well established, unless you just had Puka Nakua and he just rode you to the championship last week.
All right, well, let me close out, and it's kind of fortuitous that we're like our last, real relevant week of fantasy football that we're going to close out talking about an Arizona running back. But I
Mm.
actually finally it took the whole year. I think it's pretty clear at this point who the guy is that you should pick up if he's available. It's Michael Carter,
And he looked
uh,
good.
and he looked good. Finally, we can talk about it where it's not like we don't know and good luck and but Michael Carter might not be there. I mean, 39% owned in ESPN, 51% in Sleeper. They're playing Cincinnati. I mean, unless you have way better options, Michael Carter should pretty much be played where he's probably going to be there for us when we get to the preview show. So, I mean, we have a couple real good running back options, Tommy, both, and some really bad ones. But like Tyjae Spears, Blake Corum, Chris Rodriguez, Michael Carter, all four of them are good pickups this week on the waiver wire.
I
If
got a question for you. Do you think that Malik Davis is a decent pickup this week against Washington?
You're talking about backup running back for Dallas.
Hmm.
I'm gonna say no. I know what you're getting
So,
at, but I'm gonna say no.
so this is weak. They're mathematically eliminated. They
I
are
I know the narrative.
they were trying to play a little bit, but honestly, I think that they're going to try to see what they got in him as well too. They already know what they got in Javonte Williams. I really think that they want to see if they have a 1-2 punch element, and I think Malik Davis is going to get some more opportunity. Now, I wouldn't say plug him into basically your fantasy football lineup this week, at all. But I will say, like in a DFS situation, like this could be something that you could just throw him in there for very, very cheap and basically have RB1 upside numbers.
I agree with that. Like it, maybe that's just a DFS thing, but like there's no way a fantasy football manager on narrative street is going to be able to just, oh, I think he'll get more touches. You can't operate like that. Championship week. But it's fun that you mentioned that. Yeah, like, maybe DFS or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, they don't have any commitment towards Javonte Williams right now. So
No, they
that's
don't. They don't. And
that's a larger point.
and Jerry Jones has a way with his words when he talks about his players.
I gotta tell you, Jerry Jones is growing on me, man. He really is.
Oh my God. Just
We'll,
like all
we'll
right.
we'll talk about him more in the offseason, but
We should have a show where we talk about Jerry Jones, but then also we talk about Shador Sanders in the same show to see if we can
oh,
actually mesh them together.
we'll get to that point. All right. Running back sit rep. We are no need to cover that this week. We know who the guys are. There's no handcuff situation. We already let those guys go. So there we go. That's the running backs. So let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Let's talk about some wide receivers. We got a lot of drop candidates here. Let's start right at the top. I don't think Davante Adams plays this week. So therefore, anybody who's still rostering him, who is basically everybody, nobody dropped him before last week because you guys were way too optimistic. We told you guys to drop him. He's probably not going to play this week, so you should drop him, right?
Gone.
Yeah. And for the record, if by some absolute meteoric miracle he were to play, you're telling me you're going to trust him to play after what that hamstring injury, playing in Atlanta when they don't need him with those running backs and stuff, right? Get rid of him. It's gone. Let him go.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but yeah, I mean, like,
I
if
would
he's
never play him.
I
I
mean,
would.
he could probably score a touchdown, but yeah, I would probably
Oh,
wouldn't play him as much.
no
He's not going to
way.
be a deep threat opportunity.
He's not even going to play. He's not even going to play. And they're going
Okay.
to do that coy thing. Oh, we're going to make it a game time thing. No, he's not playing. Let's Rashee Rice. I'm not sure he's even going to be back. And even if he is, what is it? It's either Uncle Rico or Oladukin, right? Playing quarterback. How do you trust him?
Yeah, you got to drop him.
DK Metcalf. Oh, okay. I've been waiting to get to this. So DK
Goodbye.
Metcalf has been suspended. Obviously, you let him go. Let's just give
He like, yeah,
two
come on.
seconds to
Like
this. Go ahead.
the guy was pulling on somebody's blue hair.
Yeah.
He was jealous. DK Metcalf was jealous about that guy's blue hair. Like DK, I don't know if you guys remember, but DK used to basically he used to color his hair blue, and he had to go after a guy with really long blue hair and pull his hair and then smack him in the face. Well, I'm not sure if you guys know this, but DK Metcalf's contract basically has guarantees that if he does anything detrimental to the team or anything that basically is, outside the elements of this and that, whatever it is, I'm not going to get into full like detail, but I did read into it. He is at loss to lose all his guaranteed money. That means you have to give it back.
Yeah.
Do you? That's I hope that money is that has not been invested somewhere or spent. I mean, it's but like I'll tell you something right now. This could be a bigger issue than what it is, and I guarantee you, not guarantee, but I could really see, Mike Tomlin doesn't stand for this stuff, so I really could see him saying bye bye after this year, and there being a potential rebuild of that team.
Maybe. We should probably just give 2 seconds of lip service to this. So, very let's be very clear on what should and shouldn't happen, okay? There's no excuse for an NFL player or any player in any sport to go throw hands with anybody in the stands. Unless there was some magical situation which the guy in the stands ran out onto the field and started throwing hands, then you could defend yourself. I think we all understand that. There is no excuse. Um, that having been said, according to DK Metcalf, the guy was throwing out racial slurs and some other awful stuff.
How would
Now,
you hear him from the sideline?
no, I'm going to get to that. The point I want to bring up is that great, even if he did say that, it doesn't give him the right to put hands. That having been said, I think it's coming out now, and like my brother sent me like an article about it. DK just lied. He just completely lied. Like he didn't say any of that stuff. The guy did not say any of that stuff. You can't. So will there ever be repercussion for people just making up a story? I guess not. I mean,
I guess we'll find out this offseason.
oh, well, I guess we'll find out. But there's gonna,
Mr. 19, was it 19 years? 19 years Mike Tomlin's been there?
yeah, whatever it is.
19 years with no losing seasons. Mr. 19 years with no losing seasons is not going to allow that to be continued on his roster.
No, he's not, and Mike Tomlin's not going to allow stupid crap. Like if we have some sort of proof that he completely made that up, I want the same public outcry that's going and attacking this guy to go and attack TK Metcalf. I know it won't happen, but just for the record.
All right.
Anyway,
Well, I don't think anybody should be attacked. I think just people should just be honest and real about it. So
I mean, it's the internet. Anyway, we spent time on DK Metcalf. Let him go from your fantasy team. Uh, Deebo Samuel, we have on here. This one's a big one online, Tommy. So we're not sure who's playing quarterback. At this point, it's 50-50 between Josh Johnson and Mariota.
it's
Um,
looking like it's going to be Josh Johnson.
okay. They are playing Dallas, so I was encouraged by the Dallas matchup a couple weeks ago. Now I'm not, especially because of Josh Johnson. So what do we do with Deebo? Because if you're not going to play Deebo, why is he on our team?
So again, I mean, I feel like he is really difficult to say drop him because he is healthy. He is somewhat productive. And I do think that with a Josh Johnson, it may actually put more of an upside play on him because he has to be a little bit more of a vocal point to that offense. Again, it is against a division rival. He's a shot play for me this week. We already know what kind of production he could put up when he's healthy and when he's in a good situation. And I think that this is a better situation with the quarterback that's going to have to throw the ball. Josh Johnson is a decent backup. We've seen him be productive on the Giants at times when he had a backup players. We've seen him do well on the Ravens back in the day. He is a decent backup. So I think with a full practice week, if he is the guy, it could be a decent game for him, and it opens up the door for Deebo.
Okay, I kind of was leaning in that direction too, but it's a big question online. So yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
drop
hope
him.
it's Josh Johnson and not a hobbled Mariota, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, I don't want them. I mean, we've seen what they did this year with Jaden Daniels saying, all right, let's put in 1.5 men out there. Let's just, don't do it. Like I made it very clear. And I really still feel it was the narrative of, HBO saying, we got to get him out there. We got to get him out there. And then he just breaks himself again. Like, don't do it. Like,
the Hard Knocks
so
narrative is
yeah, the hard
huge.
knocks. It is. I mean, can it be even? It can't be realer, right? Like
Right.
there is no reason for him to come back. No reason. And then get re-injured and then play again through an injury and then get re-injured again. Like, come on, don't do it. He's your guy. So yeah, I think Josh Johnson plays and I think it could be a decent day.
Okay, maybe we might end up being forced into playing him. We'll see. We have some interesting wide receiver situations now that we lost
We also
Metcalf.
have an interesting flex situation too, because
We'll
Colby Parkinson is
Fail.
really making me feel shaky.
We'll get to that too. All right. Roma Dunze, we don't know if he's going to be back this week. And even if he is, I'm worried. I wouldn't throw him in there. How could you? How could you trust him after the nothing that he's done for the last umpteen amount of weeks, plus the injury? How could you put him back in there if he's back in?
No, he could go.
Right. So let him go. All right. I got a bunch of names now. Xavier Worthy,
Not worthy.
Keenan Allen,
Gone.
Jordan Addison.
He scored. He scored that. Well, no, actually, he caught that ball, but then he dropped the ball in the end zone. Goodbye.
Yeah. Did that make a difference? We don't Brosmer is going to play quarterback and they're playing Detroit.
Yep.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Adios.
Uh love this. Garret Wilson, 76% on ESPN, 80% on Sleeper. Goodbye. He's
Yeah,
not coming back.
yeah,
Like,
he's been shut down for the rest of the season.
I don't why, guys. Why goodbye. Jerry Jeudy,
Bye.
Ricky Pearsall,
Bye bye.
Darnell Mooney,
Adios.
and Keon Coleman.
Coach decision.
Can I be the coach and say no?
I think we all are.
Oh my God. So that's a lot of guys there. So make your moves as you need. All right, let's talk about pickup options. And I got to tell you guys, there's two really good names on this list, and then I think the rest of them are like farther shots. So let's get a probably owned out the way. If Chris Godwin is magically on the waiver wire, go get him. He is the best one. 71% on ESPN, 71% on Sleeper. Endless targets, and now he's against Miami. The annoying thing is like Baker does not seem to be playing as well as he should be playing. Like we talked about earlier, however many weeks ago. I think he's just playing injured, Tommy. It is what it
Yeah.
is. It just lowers the ceiling. It
He's
sucks, but
he is the he's a different version of Lamar Jackson.
well, if you want to go that analogy, that's fine. But anyway, Chris Godwin's the best thing. So Troy Franklin's the next name here. He's semi probably owned 60% on ESPN, 48% on Sleeper. He continues to perform even when he's not getting the most amount of snaps as he was a little earlier in the year. However, Pat Bryant should be out this week, who was out snapping him and cutting into that work. If Pat Bryant's out, first of all, even if he wasn't out, I would say Franklin's probably a decent shot. If Pat Bryant's out, absolutely. I think he's going to end up in our probably starts. They're playing the gave up for the season Chiefs this week. Absolutely, Troy Franklin, right?
Yeah, he's a great play. I mean, he has the Oregon connection, and I think it's a great play.
Yeah. So the problem is with, like we just mentioned, Godwin and Franklin, they might not be there. Hopefully Franklin's there. But here's the best pickup of the week. If he's and he should be there. Parker Washington, 13% on ESPN, 33% on Sleeper.
Yeah, he had a massive week.
Yeah. He's so good. He's so talented. Now he's fully back from the injury. He's great. The only negative and they're playing Indianapolis. The only negative I see here is that they just have so many options in Jacksonville. Brenton Strange, Jakobi Meyers, Brian Thomas, Parker Washington, two good running backs.
The
Lawrence
problem is
running the ball.
the problem is I don't think that they need to have to throw the ball to their third or fourth wide receiver this game. I think they could control the ball on the ground and win this game handily.
You might be right, but I mean, Indianapolis, it's not like it's going to defend anything that well. I mean, they just got eviscerated in every which way by the 49ers. I
I
mean,
know.
here's a take 2 seconds to explain it to me now. So when we get to the previous show, I'm sure you'll be like, hey, make sure you play Jakobi Meyers. But like, what wide receivers do you play with confidence in Jacksonville? Just Jakobi
Brian
Meyers?
Thomas Jr. and Jakobi Meyers.
Not Parker Washington.
You're not chasing last week's numbers. Parker Washington, he's been great on and off this year, but I just don't understand. I don't anticipate this to be a continuation this week. Again, like I just said, that I think that going against a division rival in Indianapolis at Indy, a beat up Indianapolis Colts offense and defense at this point. I mean, offensively they look good in the first half, but defensively they just kind of just broke apart. I do think that this is going to be a control the ball on the ground, and then obviously Trevor Lawrence is playing fantastic, and he's also rushing over 40 plus rushing yards a game. So I think he'll kind of utilize his legs as well too, and take away from some of the passing.
I mean, if that's what you believe about it, then Parker Washington's not a pickup for you, if that's the case, because then you wouldn't play him, and then why is he on your team, right?
Well, again, you could be playing keep away from another guy. That
It fine if you're like, hey, he really needs a deeper shot. Nobody
because
else is on the waiver
Billy's
wire.
all about the keep away factor.
Well, I am. I mean, if the guy needs a wide receiver and Chris Godwin and Troy Franklin, for example, are not available, absolutely. I'll try to keep away Parker Washington for sure.
Hmm.
I mean, let's talk about, I mean, how do you compare him to the next guy? So Adonai Mitchell, he's 36% in ESPN, 43% in Sleeper. We talked about him on and off for, I don't know, the last 6 weeks or so.
Not against New England.
I'm inclined to agree with you. I mean, he has had endless targets since week 11, but I mean, targets from the New York Jets, it's like, I mean, this is inflation of money is what this is.
Hmm. I will
It's
say
not as good.
I will say the next guy I would basically Alec Pierce is somebody that I would probably pick up this upcoming week because they're gonna have to throw the ball, and he was basically the red zone target, and he was also the deep threat whenever it was thrown the ball. And he felt and basically you could see that Rivers felt comfortable throwing the ball, spreading the ball out, but he was pretty much the one that was getting open in those really, really important times.
Yeah, funny you should mention that while we're on the topic of Pierce. So therefore, like, is Pittman a drop? I mean, he's done nothing with Rivers. Rivers is
Yeah,
only looking for Pierce.
Pierce and Downs have been productive, and
Right.
Pittman has not. And honestly, the balls that were thrown to Tyler Warren were decapitating throws. So, um, which is insane. But he was basically in triple coverage, basically trying to get the ball, and then he was basically getting his helmet ripped off every single time. So, Pierce and Downs were the ones that were in single coverage, and they will be in single coverage, and Rivers is gonna take the shot in single coverage and probably make that throw there.
And I really like Alec Pierce. I think he's super, super talented.
Yeah,
Super talented. So yeah, maybe he gets you
I
one
play
more
Alec
swap.
Pierce over all of those guys we just spoke about.
I would not be playing him over Troy Franklin.
I would
No.
play him over Trey Franklin against Kansas City's defense.
Oof. Well, again, I think Kansas City's packed it in at this point, but okay. All right, and let's talk about our obligatory Green Bay Packers wide receiver situation. So, first of all, right out the bat, um, we think Jordan Love is going to play. There is a chance that he does not play, and if that's the case, then I don't want to play. I really don't want to play any of the Green Bay receivers if that's the case. If it's Malik Willis, I think his name is. Um,
Yeah, Malik
so
Willis.
let's assume Jordan Love plays. If Jordan Love plays, we have to take into consideration the Dobbs situation. So if Dobbs doesn't play, I think both Watson and Reed are good plays in the game.
I mean, I feel like they both have to play. I mean, Josh Jacobs and also and Jordan Love have to play. I mean, they can't pack it in. They can, if they don't play, they're losing. It's
Well,
over.
Jordan Love, I mean, it might be out of his hands. He might not be medically cleared to play. So it depends on that. The Dobbs situation to me affects Watson and Reed majorly because I mean I would not even given the situation I wouldn't want to play either one of them as a more than a longer shot type of thing. If Dobbs is out, I feel a lot better about Watson and Reed. I know that we felt really good about Watson up to now, but he had the injury, he came back, he's supposedly fully healthy now, so take of that what you will.
Listen, going into this week against Baltimore, if Love is playing, I'm going Watson, Reed, Dobbs.
Uh,
If that's my ranking order.
Okay.
If he's not, I'm not taking any of those guys.
Okay. There is a chance that none of them are available. Watson is 71% on ESPN, 68% in sleeper. Dobbs
And
is
guys,
60 and 60. I mean,
the owners of these players with Reed, Dobbs, and Watson, if if Jordan Love is not playing, you are not playing any of those guys. Do not play them in your championship.
right. Yeah, you
You have
should not.
you should have better options basically as because that those one of those guys are your flex. So you'll have multiple positions to basically fill that void.
All right. So just to confirm with you, assuming Chris Godwin's not available, your favorite pickup here is Pierce.
Yeah.
Mine is Franklin. Who would
For
you?
me,
Who would?
It's Pierce Franklin.
Okay. Okay. And you really feel strongly not to chase on Parker Washington.
No.
Okay. Adonai Mitchell's always a throw in. He's likely to, he might be one of the more
Yeah.
available
For me,
guys.
It's Pierce Franklin Downs. That's the route I'd go based on
Okay.
matchup as well.
All right. So this is the end of my list. There wasn't other names that I felt confident that like either you or me would be like, this is a guy you could throw in on championship weekend that you'd feel comfortable with. There's other guys that had good games that had point. Like for example, I don't have Kamara DK here. But you feel comfortable throwing in Kamara DK in your championship weekend? Like, no way. No
No.
way. Like, there's other guys who had a good game that we don't have to chase points for, a Roman Wilson or something. Like, we don't need to do that. So, I mean, are there any other names that you'd consider throwing in championship weekend?
Well, this is gonna sound disgusting, and I know it's not a good matchup, but Johnston could be somebody that I maybe want to plug in there.
Sure. I don't know. I don't have his roster. I know he's highly rostered. So,
He's from here a consensus. I don't have it for ESPN or
sure.
Sleeper, but it's 48% owned.
Okay. Okay. I mean, he is playing Houston, so it's not the
I
best
know.
matchup there.
That's what I'm saying. It's not a good matchup, but he's definitely somebody who's technically the number two target right now.
He's Quinton Johnson is 65% owned on ESPN and on Sleeper. Let's check it out right now. Quinton Johnston is at 73%. So it's a good chance that he won't be there. That having
Good
been
chance,
said,
but there's an opportunity.
yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad option, but count your options as you have them. I would say that I'd be worried about that in general because it's Houston. I accept Vegas's prediction that it's going to be a very low scoring game. I did not like what I saw out of Stroud. He should have eviscerated the Raiders, and that did
Yeah.
not happen. So take of that what you will. Put it this way, however you want to order it, me and Tommy basically have Troy Franklin and Alec Pierce as probably 1 and 2, and however you want to order it this week. So hopefully those guys are there for you guys. All right, let's get into some tight ends here. Let's go to drop candidates, and some of the names are very, very sad. So, uh, top of this list is Travis Kelce.
Hmm.
So I think Casey has completely given up. I think it's going to be either Oladukin or Uncle Rico. How do you trust Travis Kelce? I think he's completely given up himself too. Like,
Yeah, Travis Kelce's done. I think his career's over as well too.
yep. Mark Andrews, with Brent Huntley.
Somehow, by the way, somehow he is the number one tight end, getting Pro Bowl votes.
It's a name. Well, he had a decent season. I
Come
mean,
on.
he did. He had a good season.
He had a 5 week stint of okayness.
All right. Mark Andrews, he hasn't had a good week since week 11, and now Brent Huntley is QB. Goodbye, Mark Andrews.
Yep.
Goodbye. Sam Laporta, people were desperate for him to come back. That never happened. We told you to drop him however many weeks ago. He's still owned. He's not coming back. Goodbye, Sam Laporta.
He
Goodbye.
had back surgery. He's gone.
Yeah. Oronde Gadsden, 62 point
One catch.
he has been awful since week 10 on. I got it. He had a good couple weeks in there. It's been bad since then. Goodbye. Uh, David Njoku, the injury plus Fannin is killing everything. Goodbye. Goodbye, David Njoku. And Colby Parkinson, I still maintain that that was the right call. It was the right call last week. His opportunities and everything with Davante going down and how good he had been for however many weeks, but they just decided to Sean McVay to throw it at us and be like, nope, we're going to change up our whole offense.
Well,
So
they got three tight ends that are pretty decent.
that's right. Is there any hope that you would be like, no, he might have a good game again the next week? If the answer is no, goodbye, Colby Parkinson, and that's what we think. We're not going to put our hopes there on Colby Parkinson again.
I don't want to talk about him this week then.
Yeah, let's leave it. All right, pickup options. Top couple of the names that we're going to get at the higher end of this list, there's a chance they won't be there, but it's worth mentioning them. So Dalton Schultz, since week 7, he has been one of the absolute best tight ends in every single format, and the last 2 weeks have been extra good. He's the clear number 2 target in Houston. Stroud likes him. Their backups like him. Whoever it is, they like him. He's very good. He's basically close to must start every single week at this point. So Dalton Schultz, if he's there. Hunter Henry, we talk about him all the time. You could throw him in every single week. He could have a great game every week. He could have a good game. He could have a bad game. But guess what? They're playing the Jets. So I'm sure he'll have a good game. He had just had a great game this past week. He's always valuable. Yeah, let's go. Hunter Henry. And Juwan Johnson, Tommy, he had finally had that big, hey, we had the Juwan Johnson game. With Vele out, all the consolidated passing targets go to Olave and Johnson at this point. So with Taysom Hill not doing as many tight end duties and doing running back duties, this could be very good in week 17 at Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. So chances though that those three guys might not be on your waiver wire, worth taking a peek. But let's talk about widely available guys, and I'm most excited about AJ Barner.
And
Um,
you got one guy that's not on this list, and I want to talk about him after we talk about these three guys.
Okay, okay. So AJ Barner, 16% in ESPN, 27% in sleeper. All of the targets finally turned into that production, some of the production that we've seen earlier in the season. And he could very well have another good game in week 17. We say it all the time. We're not chasing points, we're chasing targets. And this is a guy that absolutely has had targets. Johnny, by the way, Tommy, Johnny thinks that Carolina has a real good shot to win this game. So I actually think
I believe so too.
I think it's going to be a competitive game, which helps the Barner narrative. I like Barner here, so Barner's a good tight end option. Taysom Hill, go ahead, Tommy. Why don't you talk about Taysom Hill here?
I mean, he's the gadget man. He's I will say this, like, they the team next year has to shy away. He cannot be on this roster because this is like, this
He does
he's a
not
great.
look as good as he used
No,
to.
no, no, no. I will say if this was last year before the injury, he would have probably put up 50 points in fantasy. But he's not the same guy as he was. He threw for a touchdown. He ran for it. He ran very well. He caught the ball. I mean, he had a really nice
If it
game.
wasn't for that pass, it wouldn't have ended up that well, to be
No,
honest.
but you know what? It's not where you start, it's where you finish. It's how the game ends. So, he did have a good week. I thought he was a really good opportunity to plug in there, and it paid off. So,
Well, I think he's a good option. You have a tight end who's basically co-starting at running back. By that definition alone, he's worth
mhm.
picking up. So Taysom Hill. And let's just give a quick mention to Jake Tonjes. So we don't know the extent of the George Kittle injury. I George Kittle, some people call him George Brittle. I think he toughs it out. They have a really important game this week at playing at home against Chicago. However,
I
if Kit
honestly don't think he plays because I think they're more enticed to keep him healthy for the playoffs.
So we saw it earlier in the season. Jake Tonjes was very good in Kittle's absence. So I think he's a great pickup. And let me just give an extra mention. If you're the Kittle owner, you absolutely better pick up Tonjes because it's a Sunday night game. And if you're going to wait on that, the tight end options on Monday night are not good. Like
Hmm.
guys who are otherwise not rostered or whatever. So you absolutely need to get Tonjes. If you're not a Kittle owner and you want to take a shot and assuming Kittle's out, Tonjes could be a very good play. So we like
Okay.
Tonjes, and he's available everywhere. Who did I miss?
Dawson Knox. He did not have a good week last week, but the previous 2 weeks he was the tight end 4, tight end 8. He is getting his targets. Yes, and with a Dalton
Is
Kincaid who is up and down and slightly up and down injured. I think Dawson Knox has the chemistry. He was the tight end 1 there before Dalton Kincaid was there. We
that
already know what he can
was
do, what he
years
can
ago.
perform. Yeah, that was 3 years ago. And I do think that Dawson Knox could be somebody that could plug in as a streamer this week against Philadelphia.
I would never do it. I would
Uh,
never do it.
okay, then don't do it.
Oh, I think people could do better than that. Ugh,
No,
yeah, the
okay,
backup, quote unquote backup time. All right, all right. Either way,
yep.
um, ready to move on to streamers?
Let's move on to streamers.
Welcome to the A Stream for all you lovely listeners streaming quarterback and or defense, where we will do our very best to hook you guys up with widely available quarterbacks and defenses to win you your week. We're right there with you guys. So this is an important week for all of us here. So quarterbacks, let's get three names out the way that may or may not be available, because if they are available, they're by far the best ones, but they might not be available for you to pick up. Jakobi Brissett, obviously, at Cincinnati. Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback one for however many weeks in a row now. At Indianapolis. Sam Darnold, he's coming back now, playing Carolina in a pivotal match for them. But they might not be there. They're both hovering. They're all hovering somewhere between 45 and 60 something percent. So they might not be there. Now here's where things get tough, Tommy. We have one name that I feel so confident in, and that's Tyler Shough. Uh, 11% on ESPN, 21% on Sleeper. He's available for you guys to go get him. He helped get me to my championship game this past week in one of my other leagues. So we're all on Tyler Shough. He's looked great. They got a great matchup now. We like Tyler Shough. He's awesome. Here's a
100%.
problem. Here's a problem. I can't name a single other quarterback I would feel confident playing in week 17. Look at that.
No.
Look at that list here. Can you? Can
Yeah.
you pick one?
No, and I don't think we need to go through this list to be honest. There's a lot of names. It's like the rest of the 32 quarterbacks in the that are non-starters.
Those are the only other guys that are available, and
Yeah,
not one of them would I feel comfortable playing.
I agree.
So God bless you guys. If you don't have access to a quarterback, at the very least, hopefully you could get Tyler Shough. If you can't get Tyler Shough,
And the list that Billy's talking about is J.J. McCarthy, Geno Smith, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, Aaron Rodgers, Quinn Ewers, Cam Ward, Shador Sanders, Chris Odulikin, whatever how you pronounce his last
or
name,
Gardner Minshew, whoever you want to throw in.
Gardner Minshew, Philip Rivers, or Brady Cook. Do not touch those guys. Do not play them in your championship week.
Please, when we get to Sunday Live or whatever it is that we interact, let us know if you actually have to make that decision. Please, if you need a quarterback, go get Tyler Shough. That's the answer. So we're gonna leave it there. We're not gonna recommend anybody else.
Yeah.
Um, Defenses though, we got some decent options here. So let's get a couple more of the more owned names out the way. If the Packers are available, they're home against Baltimore. Baltimore should be starting Brent Huntley. That's a good matchup. So Packers should be good. The Buccaneers, who aren't that good of a defense, but they're playing Miami starting QE. That's a good matchup. The Browns, normally I wouldn't mention this because the Browns have been bad as of late. However, the over-under on that game is absolutely tiny, and Myles Garrett is absolutely looking for that sack record. So if you want an opportunistic defenses against a quarterback who can't move that well,
I wouldn't do that.
I wasn't feeling that good about the Browns either,
No.
but the over under is just so tiny. You're like
Uh,
when you
no. No.
okay. I do feel good about the Chargers though. They are at home against Houston after what
I feel
Houston
better about that.
yeah, after what Houston did not do against the Raiders. We're feeling good about that. And the Giants Raiders game. You could play both defenses, right?
100%. And I think you forgot. I think you forgot a team.
Oh my goodness, who did I
The New
forget?
Orleans Saints.
The
The
Saints
New
are the
Orleans
Saints
Saints
are
against Titans.
the Saints are widely owned though. So we're not
Yeah.
bringing that. We're not really bringing them up.
Okay.
But if you got the Saints, play them. But they're much more widely owned. We're talking to people who got to make moves, man. Got to make moves on that waiver wire. Last name on this list is the Tennessee Titans. They are playing the Saints this week. And if you don't believe in Tyler Shough, which we do, then go ahead and roll with the Saints. Sorry, go ahead and roll with the Titans. But we believe in the Saints, so that would be
Yeah.
like I don't even want to. I'm gonna end up removing them from the list when we do it. So we believe in the Saints this
Hmm.
week. So there we go. As a reminder, all of our drop candidates and waiver options will be posted in the description of this episode's video on YouTube. So feel feel free. Please check us out there as well. And by the way, just as another thing, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on Spotify, we're everywhere you get your podcasts. We're on YouTube, we're everywhere. We got a lot of stuff going. We got a lot of cool stuff going for you guys in the off season. So we are
Yep.
very, very excited for that as well. Closing thoughts, Mr. Line?
Yeah. Please like, share, and subscribe. We truly appreciate you guys taking the time to watch our content, and please continue to in this off season.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
everybody.